怖いねえか。良い行いの人間には富と力を与え、今年も豊作となるように恵みを与えよう。
When I was small, I went to a festival and cried because I was afraid of an oni, a Japanese traditional ogre. Onis are usually seen as the bad ones, but in some cases, they are worshipped as God who protects people. However, an oni is scary. Additionally, in Japan, there's a famous New Year's event where a dancing lion, Shishimai, bites a child's head, which apparently brings good luck. It is important to keep these traditions, but it's too scary for kids. Children are afraid when these scary characters appear in festivals, legends, stories, movies, animations, and games all around the world, not just in Japan. So, what impact do these scary characters have on parent-child relationships? That's what I thought about. Onis, monsters, and lions that look scary are remembered as scary characters by children. Why were they scared? Parents may have built up the characters as scary to children. For what? These scary characters may have been useful in parent-child communication. If you lie, King Emma will pull out your tongue. If you don't go home early, an ogre will come and kidnap you. In Japan, these are typical lines often used by parents. My mother used them on me too. I remember I obeyed. I was imagining an ogre coming to take me away. One day, many of my friends said that they received a phone call from an ogre when they were small and did something bad. As it turns out, none of them has ever talked to Santa Claus before, but many of them received the phone call from an ogre. It's an app, one of them said. We found an app on the internet that proved our parents were using it for discipline. You can easily send out lines from your smartphone at any time you want, whenever you want your child to listen to what you say in an instant. The IT revolution we have made. A parenting app with 23 million downloads.
It's an ogre. I'm coming to the bad guy's house. Now! 10, 9, 8, 7.
I was surprised that ogres disciplined so many children. When I heard the voice through the app, all my childhood memories came back to life. I remember receiving phone calls from an ogre too, panicking and swearing I would obey my parents for the rest of my life. That was the moment when I found out the truth of my respected mother's discipline. It felt like when magicians fail to hide their tricks and reveal those tricks to the whole audience. It felt like before watching a movie I was looking forward to, I saw a spoiler on TikTok, and it had a disappointing ending. It felt like when I found out that there is no Easter Bunny. It was an indescribable feeling. When I turned 10, those imaginary characters lost their effect on me. But parental phrases became more realistic. If you don't put away your toys, I'll throw them away. If you don't finish your homework, you cannot go out and play this weekend. If you don't finish all your food on your plate, I'll never make it again. A scary character turned into a scary mother. Now this. I learned that there are phrases that scare people called threatening phrases. So I asked my mother, "When do you use threatening phrases?" She answered, "You use it when you want to make people do what you want them to do. In those times, making a scary face and booming voice helps." She proudly replied, "I see." So I asked my mother, "Have you ever used threatening phrases on someone before?" "No way! I would never do such thing." "Really?" Those scary phrases are often used by mafias, gangsters, and yakuzas, and those scary people who intimidate people in weaker positions. My mother was not aware of her own usage of threatening phrases in her discipline. An American psychologist, Elizabeth Hurlock's reward and punishment experiment is incredibly famous. Divide children into 3 groups and make them take a math test 5 times. Group A was constantly praised. Group B was scolded each time they took a test. And Group C was told nothing. As a result, Groups B and C did not perform well. On the other hand, Group A, constantly praised, gradually gained motivation, and performed well. Most of us know that positive reinforcement leads to better results. But I was surprised that even after a century from its beginning in 1925, it is still a difficult form of communication. It's easier to just use those threatening phrases. There's even an app for that. According to Maricela Fonseca Anauco, a cognitive behavioral psychologist at Guerrero Autonomous University, the threat is an inheriting resource. When my mother used those threatening phrases on me without realizing it, I thought I might use it towards my future children too, without noticing, by inheriting the resource. Communication that can discipline a child comfortably is incredibly difficult to put into practice. However, It is important to try to reduce the usage of threatening phrases in parent-child communication. Parents and children who have strengthened their communication will surely grow up to have a stronger relationship throughout their whole lives. I firmly believe that inheriting resources such as positive reinforcement and respecting each other will lead to a happier parent-child relationship, potentially leading to world peace. Thank you. Mother, acted by Otoko Kobayashi, and please give a big applause to Masashi Yamada. Thank you.